Usually, I'd love to talk about the wine first and then the spice. This one is going to be different, and I'll tell you why. This is a spice called Panch Foreign. Panch is 5 foreign. I should have looked it up. Why it's called foreign. This is a very typical spice blend from the east of India, but the cuisine does not get as much exposure as the northern food or the southern food. And this is actually a blend of 5 different seeds. Interesting because if you know, the other Indian spice that we did was butter chicken, very famous. Everyone knows about it, talks about it. It was easy for me to conceal. This one was a little bit hard, but I wanted to challenge not only our pairings, but also the wine. So the 5 seeds in this is cumin, fenugreek, fennel, nigella seeds. It's probably the black seeds that you've seen on naan bread, and mustard seeds. And then, of course, I had to add some to create the bridge with the wine. So there's coriander, dry mango, onion, cardamom, ginger, and other spices. And the base for this is rice flakes. To me, Bengali tradition, if you've ever looked up Bengali traditions, culture in India, they're very esoteric, they're very learned, they're very educated, very poetic. So I wanted to pay an homage to that. And so I picked up the challenge of first understanding what Panch Foreign is, and then kind of thinking backwards as to what wine it would pair with. So in this case, the spice came first. And I just thought it has a lot of bitter notes because of the seeds. It has a lot of nuttiness because the seeds are all toasted. So to me, what wine really jumped out was the Temple, which is an homage to the right bank of Bordeaux. So this is led by Cabernet Franc, almost equal amount of Merlot and a kiss of Petit Verdot. So this is our Cab Franc Merlot Petit Verdot. For us, the love for the right bank of Bordeaux goes much deeper than just loving the varietals. We actually make wine in Saint-Emilion and in a Grand Classé Fathom. So if you make a reservation to taste at LXV, just ask for Maison Métal. And it's something you don't talk about or write about, but if you know, you know. So this is our Cab Franc Merlot Petit Verdot Temple. Just on the nose, the Cab Franc shows its presence. There's a slight mature herbaceousness to it. Almost like the winter greens. Spiciness, a slight spiciness to it as well. A lot of red, mature red fruit. And I think that's the Merlot showing its presence. And white chocolate, white coconut. You might think I never usually talk so much about notes on a wine. But because this was almost like a reverse of what I do, I really had to study the wine and understand the wine in much depth to make sure that this worked. So I really studied the wine to an amazing depth. I promise you one thing, if Merlot, in addition to the beautiful flavor and the posture that it gives the wine, it is a very warm embrace, and that's what a Merlot does. It's just a beautiful, the mouthfeel on this wine, the body on this wine, it's so luxurious. And then the Cab Franc just sits in this opulent setting and exhibits this vivid sharpness, and yet there is that opulent setting that you do not miss in this wine. And the Petit Verdot almost gives gravitas to this wine, gives it that longevity. Let's pair it. Is it fair to say that the Petit Verdot gives it longevity to the palate? I don't know. Whenever I taste blends, it's very hard to say one varietal does that over the other. My guess is it's the Petit Verdot, but sometimes it's the interaction between the varietals. So it's probably the interaction between them that's giving that length to the wine. This is how I do it without it. Like I do have it here, so Oh, that right. This is the Templeton Gap. This is the reason why this operation is so celebrated and so decorated. The beautiful wind that keeps us cool, that allows bracing acidity to our wines, and then of course there's the limestone in the back that just holds them acidity together. Okay, not the most yummy spice, I would say, but very complex. Very, very complex. This is one of the best pairings we've done since Sauv Blanc. If you remember with the Sauv Blanc Semillon, we had the Kasuri Methi, the fenugreek. We had the coriander, the marigolds, with it was called Camelli Sinelli from the country of Georgia. This pairing is giving me that vibe. It just dialed this wine completely in a different direction. Now the fruit is coming alive, the texture is very different, and that's what I love with these spice pairings. Is it doing something to the wine that I did not notice before, or my mouth is watering so I can barely finish my sentences. But this is, you'll have to taste this together to believe it. Forget about cooking with this. Just dust with some spices and you will, with some cheese and you will look good. I didn't know stills again. Interesting. Very interesting. I can't explain it. This, the bitterness, the nuttiness, there's a certain umami that really showcases so many facets of the fruit in this wine, the body of this wine, the acidity, which, because of Merlot, it almost has this roundness that cheats the acidity in its expression, but with this pairing, the acidity just came alive. I taste everything from the front to the back of my palate now. It is really fascinating. My favorite way of using the spice now is a fish curry. That's it. And usually with my spices, I like to say, use it with this, use it with that. And with this, I would say, just use it with fish curry. It's going to be fantastic. But having said that, you can put it on roasted vegetables. You could do... you could actually do a, you know how we do a crunch of chili to go with our rice? You could do an oil crunch with this to go with your rice. That would be fascinating, to just plain rice and this with olive or as if it were a crunch. Since Camelli Sinelli, I think this has been my most exciting pairing that I've done. The area that it comes, it's from the east of India, but it's called West Bengal. And it has a special place in my heart. It has a very special memory in my heart. Also, my friends know what I'm talking about. And so it's great to finally do a spice that's an homage to that my favorite memory of mine. So why don't we do this? When you do this pairing, would you please send me a note? Did that spark a memory for you? And if it did, and that doesn't have to be the spice, any pairing of ours, any wine of ours, any spice of ours, if it sparks a memory, would you please share it with me? And I would love to just be a part of it in that moment. Well, cheers.